Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning into TokYo-Yo. My name is T. Back at it again with another look at another yo-yo. Today we're looking at a yo-yo company that we haven't looked at for a long time, but this one has actually been requested quite a bit, so I'm finally getting to it. Today we're going to be looking at the Colossus 3 from TopYo. So is this yo-yo too big for its britches, or is it a colossal success? Let's take a closer look at the Colossus 3. The shape, I would call a very straight W. You'll notice if you look into the gap here, there's a bit of a shiny spot near the response. I assume that keeps the string from rubbing on the inside of the yo-yo there. And then you have these big giant rims that go up here. You can see by looking at the outside of the yo-yo here that these rims are quite large and offer a lot of weight. In the cup, you have a lot of multi-layered ridges in here. You've got a sharp drop from the rim going down into this. Then there's another cut that goes down. Then you've got like this little axle hub dimple thingy. No finger spins happening in the center here. It's not concaved at all, so that's not going to happen. The material that this is made of is 7003, which I haven't seen that much. TopYo talks about it quite a bit. They say that it basically lets them play with durability. It lets them make kind of a nicer quality of yo-yo metal. Apparently it's supposed to be more durable, but it also lets them throw more money at colors and ano and other things like that. When you first look at it, you might think it's kind of a normal size yo-yo, but it does feel quite small in the hand. I think because it's a W shape, it fits into your hand nicely, but you will feel like it is a bit smallish. The look is quite nice. This is the Colossus 3 in, I believe, the blood stain colorway. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. This yo-yo comes in tons of different colors. Rainbows, splashes, acid washes, all kinds of different colors for this. So pretty much any kind of color you're interested in, you're going to be able to find a Colossus 3 in that color. As far as the response, you've got some standard white pads in here. They work very, very well. And the bearing is I believe the bearing is a standard centering bearing too. No complaints on either front. And the bearing is very quiet as well. So let's get into history of the TopYo Colossus 3. So actually I bought this specifically because I wanted to try out this 7003 aluminum. I was really curious about how it felt, how it would hold up, and basically just why it was being used. I wanted to get the Galaxy colorway, but I missed it unfortunately. I waited too long. I came back and I got this instead. This is still really, really nice, but I really wish I had gotten the Galaxy, or the rainbow one is really nice too. But I think this is kind of a sign of where China's going with its yo-yo design, which is basically being able to keep yo-yos really cheap but making them really cool looking and really nice at the same time. It does play really, really fast. I was surprised after picking this up after a long time. I was really surprised at how quickly this thing moves. It really, really moves quick. It may be one of the fastest yo-yos I've played recently. It's not necessarily something I enjoy. I feel like sometimes it goes a little too fast. I tend to lose control of it. As I've said many times, I'm a pretty slow player and I enjoy yo-yos that push a more smooth style. And I feel like sometimes the Colossus gets out of my hands a little bit. That could just be because I don't have great control, but at the same time I feel like it doesn't lend itself to smooth play as much as something like an MKT or something does. It does feel a bit dense too. I'm not sure how to explain it, but it feels like there's a lot of weight packed into a small shape. As I said before, it is a bit on the smallish side. It does fit in the hand well, but it feels like it's right in the middle of undersized and normal. Like it's not small enough to be like a Veritas Pro or something, but it's also not big enough to be like a full size. It's very strange. Here it is next to the Veritas Pro. You can see the diameter is just slightly bigger. It is a tiny bit wider than the Veritas Pro as well. So it's like right on the edge of a little bit bigger than undersized, but a little bit smaller than normal size. I don't know, it's unusual. I don't have any other yo-yo that is quite that size. And it does feel strange also to have a smaller yo-yo in the W shape. And because of that also, it does feel a little bit narrow, but I think once you get used to it, it's not so much of a problem. Response is good, and I was surprised to find that the bearing is as quiet as it is. There's really no problem that I've had with either one. One thing I will say about the Colossus 3 is I feel like the spin time is really short on this thing. And I don't know if it's just mine. I haven't really taken it apart yet because I haven't had any like vibe or anything with it. It is really smooth. That was something that really surprised me. But yeah, I don't know about the spin time. It just seems really limited. I feel like I'm kind of struggling to get through a lot of my stuff, and it doesn't help that it doesn't feel the most stable either. I do feel like it tilts on me sometimes, and I think it's kind of rubbing against the response. On top of the fact that I feel like the spin time is already a bit limited, it's unfortunate because I think it is really playable, but it doesn't seem to spin as long as I'd like it to. As far as the 7003, I think it lets them get away with a more durable throw, as they said. It does have a little bit slightly different feel in the hand. It's quite smoothed over. I guess you could say it feels a little bit more similar to like a 7075 blast than it does to like a 6061 blast, but I'm not sure if that's only because I know. Maybe if I didn't know that it was a different metal, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference, but in any case. And it does have a little bit different of a ring to it. The acoustics are a bit different with this yo-yo. But I don't feel like playability has really changed. I'm not sure if that's what they were going for, because I do remember reading that they wanted to be more durable and they wanted to be able to put money in other stuff. So instead of putting money into a super fancy metal, they want to put it like into anno and other things like that, which, you know, obviously the colorways for this are incredible. Anyway, let's get into pros and cons of the TopYo Colossus 3. Pro number one of the Colossus 3 is the color is fantastic. Like I said, I really wanted the Galaxy, but this one looks pretty incredible, and I hope the camera does it justice, but this blue is super rich. You got a lot of purples in here, the pink obviously, the white. It's just a really nice looking yo-yo. It's also got a really smooth feel, like I said. I don't know if that's because it's 7003 or what, but it does feel really smooth in the hand. The blast or whatever this is does feel extremely nice and high quality. As for cons, like I said, it is a little bit narrow, like I said. The more I play with it, the more I don't mind it, especially since I first picked it up. I've been playing with more narrow, smaller throws like the Veritas Pro and the MKT, so I don't really mind narrow throws as much, but like I said, it does feel slightly undersized, so that might bother you if you're going for a competition shape, but something that's a little more full-sized. And the spin time, I feel like, is kind of a big drawback of this. It could just be me, like I said, maybe it needs to be tuned, or maybe, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it needs tuning because it's not vibing or anything, but it's just not spinning that long, and I haven't really seen anyone else complain about that. In fact, this gets a lot of good attention just about everywhere, so maybe it's just me, I'm not sure. But I do feel like the spin time is limited, especially next to other yo-yos that are this comparable to this size or this shape. As far as one thing, I'm not sure if it's a pro or con, so I won't really put it in those categories, but the 7003 is a little bit different if you're into trying a different metal but you don't want to break the bank going for 7075. You might want to check out something like this or the Impulse or something in TopYo's budget line. I know at least those two that I mentioned use 7003, so it kind of lets you try a new metal without dropping too much money on it. Like I said, I think it feels different, and it definitely lets them play a lot more with putting their money in other parts of the yo-yo. But as far as playability, I'm not sure how different it is. You might need to talk to somebody with a lot more experience than me to give a more comprehensive opinion about that. And the last section of our review today, who's the TopYo Colossus 3 for? 3 4. I think the Colossus 3 is good for somebody who wants to get into TopYo and doesn't want to spend a lot of money. It is definitely in their budget line. It is a good way to kind of try, I guess, a W or like H hybrid shape if you want to get into that. It definitely looks really cool, so if you want something that looks like it kind of stands out with an interesting colorway, that's a good way to go. I think it's only about $30 or so. But at the same time, I don't feel like it's really standing out, especially among TopYo's stuff. They're coming out with a lot of really cool stuff. There's the recent collaboration with Unparalleled. They put out the Elimination. There's the Turbine that recently came out, the Empty. There's a lot of different ones that are coming out from TopYo, and I feel like this doesn't really represent the best of what the brand can do, but I do feel like if you're in the market for a budget yo-yo that looks pretty cool and plays okay, then the TopYo Colossus 3 might be what you're looking for. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching today. Thanks for the likes, the comments, the subscriptions. Go ahead and check out my podcast feed, TokYo-Yo Talk. It's over on iTunes. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. Take care, have a nice day, and sayonara.